Alright, to launch my new channel, I figured I'd show my first attempt, this being my first attempt at a video for my new channel, and I'll show you my first attempts at making pipes. I got started about about 2 years ago, and well, actually 3 years. That's when I picked up this pipe here. It was a kit, and someone had kind of started it. It was a big square block with the vent holes already pre-drilled and the stem fit, but other than that everything was just square, and someone had started it, and they had gone as far as rounding off the corners a little bit with like an X-acto knife before they discovered that it's actually pretty damn hard to carve briar with a knife, and so they gave up, and it ended up in one of those antique malls. So I took it. I was trying to quit a few bad habits at the time, like drinking, and I needed distractions, and I've been a wood carver for most of my life, and to get back into it I picked up this kit, and here's the results. I figured I'd go with just the classic kind of black forest acorn leaf look. And when it got to the top and bottom, I did this kind of braided, or this rope sort of pattern, for lack of knowing what else to do. I left the knife marks on it in keeping with the theme, and I didn't worry about making the stem blend in perfectly with the pipe here, but I kind of like the way it turned out. I'm keeping it. I'll just keep it because I've got way too much time in it to ever sell it and make what I've got into it. I like to carve my name good and deep so it'll stand the test of time. A lot of makers, the factories and private makers alike, will just use a stamp that they roll onto the stem, and sometimes it's so light you can barely read it. But anyway, that was my first attempt. And talk about something that took a lot of time, and I almost gave up on a couple of times because I found a few faults in the wood, and I had spent so much time on it already, but I just persisted and finally got it done. It's my scary mermaid pipe, I call it. Starting around on the side here, I've got an octopus. And going around, you see the mermaid's arms and hair and tail. She's in a sitting position. I'd set it down for a long time and not really work on it for a while, so it took me about a year to complete. And we got a couple of triggerfish or parrotfish, whatever they were. I just looked up tropical fish online and just picked out a couple of fish I thought would fit the theme of the pipe. A few bubbles going up there. The rustication right here and all along the bottom across this saddle here I did with a Dremel, a 1/16 inch ball bit on the Dremel, which worked pretty good. And I rolled it on around, and there's my trademark. Took a little extra time on that too. This was another kit that was pre-drilled. It was a fairly nice one, and luckily I didn't find any more cracks or faults in the wood when I got down to this depth here, and it still left me a good thick pipe the way I like them. And of course it hasn't been smoked. I might smoke it someday, but it's another one I'll keep unless somebody just really has to have it and offers me a good price for it. But it took me so long, and no one wants to pay, you know, $400 for a pipe unless it's one of the really well-known names. But anyway, show you the two main tools I used on these pipes. This is an antique knife. I have several of them. A lot of shoemakers and wood carvers use this kind of knife. This one's I'm blind, excuse me. Warren cutlery. Come on, focus. Alright. And I took the existing blade that was in it. This edge isn't really sharp. It was dull when I got it. What I did was sharpen the very... well, I don't know if you can see that. I sharpened the very tip into a fine chisel point. It's easy to resharpen, just takes a couple of swipes on the really fine stone, and that's what I use to just really get in there and carve the lines and get all the fine features. The scales, I used a kind of a scalloped little chisel that I've got, and just repetition. And then this is the other knife I used to do lines, do long flowing lines, and then back cut them, undercut. Like the hair and the arms. So there you have it, my first two pipes to launch my new YouTube channel, Renaissance Ran Pipes. Alright, this is Renaissance Ran signing out.